Okay, our next presenter will be Miss Emily Butterworth.
The date was February 27th, 1968. The evening news came on CBS, and it went across televisions in America. Walter Cronkite, the tried and true reporter, sat at the anchoring desk. He was back from his trip to Vietnam, the front lines. While at the desk, he told America of his findings, of how he saw the war in Vietnam, how it was going. He said that, quote, we were mired in stalemate, that we couldn't win. He said that the best way to end it was to negotiate with the Viet Cong and to get out of there. It is said that this report by Walter Cronkite changed the public opinion in the Vietnam War, and that it may have caused Lyndon Johnson to not seek re-election. With Walter Cronkite and those after him, reporters became the people that America turned to find real news, to find the news that they might not have been getting from government or other agencies. The date was spring of 2014, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for my governor's school topic. And I was also trying to figure out a career choice, so I decided to put them together and see if I could kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. I had found an interest in reporting. I liked the idea of researching. I liked the idea of having to write your own story, having to find the truth. And so I decided to try to figure that out and try to find an internship at a news station nearby. I also figured that this would be the only time I get to see the inside of a news station, and that would be an amazing chance. So my curiosity won out, and I picked the topic of reporting. I also had to pick a question to report on, and this question came from this quote by Jessica Savage. News reporting is a cycle. No matter how hard you work at sending a message, it is only successful if it's received. Nowadays, social media is becoming such a prevalent source of news. Facebook and Twitter, anyone can send out a message, and it can be across the United States and across the world in a matter of seconds. Whereas news broadcasters, they have to wait until their next airing time, whether it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, noonday, in the morning, they have to wait. They can't get news out as fast. So my question was, how is social media affecting news broadcasters and reporters? Are their jobs endangering? And I set out to find the answer. I decided to do my internship at the beginning, or in the summer sometime, and I was trying to find a reporter to shadow, because I wanted to shadow someone who was really researching and finding stories. And so I decided to shadow Colleen Quigley of Charlottesville Newsplex, CBS 19. I saw a list of reporters, and I literally just picked her name off the list and emailed her. And it turned out to be the best reporter I could have ever shadowed. She was so knowledgeable on social media and the effects that it has on news broadcasts. And she was so good. She covers many of the Newsplex's top stories, and it was very, very experienced. And my internship was so great just because of Colleen. So I internship for 2 days during the summer, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I was there for the entirety of her 8+ hour shift. The first day I went, we did stories on former Governor Bob McDonnell. He took the stand that day in his corruption trial. And so they were actually thinking of sending us to Richmond to report on the story, but we couldn't have gotten there by 5 o'clock news, so we didn't go, which was a bummer. But so we just did the reporting from Charlottesville. And we also did a reporting on a sculpture that was being unveiled for another kind of abstract art piece in Charlottesville. The second day I went, and it was the different shift. The first day I went was the night shift, so we were there pretty late. And the second day I went was morning shift. And we went and we interviewed Charlottesville's technology assistant and heard the new technology that the Charlottesville City Schools was implementing, and we also brought in a legal analyst to kind of research more about the Bob McDonald trial and what was the risk of putting him up on the stand, letting him be cross-examined. What were the risks that his defense took there? So I learned a lot, and throughout those 2 days, I was very exhausted by the end, but I was also much wiser about reporting and everything behind it. For my community service, it was another tough choice of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. My first option was creating a school newspaper at the middle school, similar to the one that we have here at the high school. And I thought about that for a while, and I was like, well, that would be easy. Just do it at middle school. And then my other option was creating a school news broadcast, like a literal school news broadcast with a camera and a green screen. And I knew that that would take more work, but it was Miss Wilson that pushed me to take the harder road, to take the higher road. And I'm so glad she did. And she also offered to be my community service advisor, so I couldn't say no. So I just started, like I said, I just started my news broadcast about a month ago, but I had to do a lot before that to get to where I could start filming and interviewing. So first I had to get a green screen, which Miss Tucker was kind enough to get for me. That came in first semester. Then I had to figure out, was I going to use a real camera, like the big ones that you saw that I took a picture with at CBS 19. Those were too expensive, so that was out of the question. And then what kind of camera did I want? Did I want something portable? And then a microphone. I needed a microphone for interviews. What was I going to use for a microphone? So a lot of research, a lot of thinking. Finally, I got a microphone situation set up thanks to Mr. Wintersgill and his support behind my project. And I just used a school iPad. And so I had all of my components to start my community service, which was, as you saw, creating news broadcasts for the school each week. So I began with just meet the administration thing, which you saw, and a highlight on each of the sports teams and whatever else I could find that was of any interest, upcoming events and things that I knew that the students in Madison might be interested in. So these are pictures from actually last week's broadcast, which you haven't seen because it's uploading to YouTube right now. But up here I interviewed the track team, so I got to learn a little bit more about all of the stuff that they do. And the story that was really different that I got to last week that I'm sorry you didn't get to see was rolling pins. The woodshop house in Madison started making rolling pins for Mesa. And I had never heard about this, and Mr. Novak, the woodshop teacher, had seen some of my broadcasts and said, hey, I have a story idea for you. You should do this. And I was so glad that he came and talked to me because it was amazing to see how they make them, how much time it takes them to make one rolling pin. It's about an hour. And yet they sell them for $10 and they take all the proceeds and they give it to Mesa. And it was great. And I was like, I would have never known this had I been a regular student and had I not been doing this project. I would have never known. And so just things like that made my community service worthwhile and made me feel like I was helping people. I was helping them know more. I was giving them news. So my research, that was the big question. Our news broadcasts, are they going to die out? Our news, like the nightly news, is that going to be obsolete with the growing dependence on social media and the internet? And I found that even though social media may reach more people faster, broadcast news stations are much more reliable and much more trustworthy because they have to fact check their sources. My mentor, Colleen, said that she has to fact check. If she finds something at one place, she has to find it 2 other places before she can put it on the news. She can't do that. And she also has to run it through a news director who also has to find 3 places where that source is. So there are built-in safeguards for reporters and news directors to make sure that they are reporting true information. But anyone can type up something on Twitter and send it out. It might be true, it might not be true. A good example I found of this in the real world was the Boston Marathon bombing case. Joe Arsenault was just convicted as guilty, but at the time when the FBI was trying to find this guy that did this awful thing, social media lit up about it. There was a picture, and they were like, "Oh, this guy is it," and the FBI confirmed the picture, so the picture was true. So they were trying to find someone who looked like this guy in the picture. It turns out that all of social media was like, "It's this guy, it's this guy, it's this guy," and they found this person who had been missing for about a month, and they were like, "It's him." He was a college student, had been missing for about a month. They're like, "Oh, he went away for a month, dreamed up this bomb, and then set them off." And it turns out it wasn't him, because the FBI arrested the Tsarnaev brothers later after the social media went out. And so the fact that all of social media was saying it was this one person, and it wasn't, and how hurt his parents and his family probably were. Their child was missing, and then everyone said that he bombed Boston. So just things like that makes it certain that TV is still authority. TV is, news broadcasters are reporting true information, and as long as society needs and wants the right and the true information, these news broadcasts are going to keep playing, and they're going to continue through the future. So what I learned about myself, I learned that I can be more outgoing than I thought I could be. I'm naturally a shy person, and so going and asking people to interview, like, "Hey, can I interview you?" or "Hey, can I interview a whole team?" or it was kind of scary, kind of daunting, but it was fun to do it, and I found out so much more about my high school. And I've been here 3 years, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." And it was amazing to learn these things. And if I had advice for upcoming seniors, I would say pick a topic that you love and throw yourself into it. Don't go for the, "Oh, I could do this community service project, which is easy, or I could do this one, but it's hard, but it'll be better." Do that one. Do the one that's hard, because that's the one that you're going to get more out of, and that's the one that you're going to look back and you're going to say, "Wow, that was great. And if I hadn't done any of this, I might not be where I am today."
What are you planning on doing next year?
I'm actually not going to go into journalism, which is kind of funny. As much as I loved this project, and I loved it so much, the hours for reporters are kind of awful, and not very conducive for raising a family, which I hope to do. So I would, as fun as it would be to have like a career like right after college, would be great, but farther down the road, I couldn't see myself doing this as a long-term career. So right now, I'm still planning to do something with English, with being able to research and write. So hopefully, I don't know what college I'm going to be attending, but no, not yet. But hopefully, I'll be majoring in English and then doing a master's of education and maybe teaching in high school or.
So the way that NBC let Brian Williams go is an example of what you were talking about with backing up facts.
Yeah, didn't fact check the sources. Shouldn't fact check. Yeah.
I have a story suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
You may have done it.
Oh, I love story suggestions.
To survey your classmates, high school, on where they get their news from. I see newspapers back there on the wall.
Yeah.
Seem somewhat underused, but
Oh, yeah.
when I was growing up, that's how you got your news. I'd be curious to know
Definitely.
how.
I actually,
young people today do.
yeah, and actually, in part of my research, I found that this generation, our generation, they use online, like they find their news online more than they find their news on television, and this is actually the first generation that's ever done that. So that kind of prompted my research, like, oh, if my generation is the first generation that's using online sources for news, what does that mean for the next generation? Does that mean that TV is going to become even more less used. But thankfully, I found that that's not going to happen anytime soon.